Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Foliage. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So today I'm going to be talking about a very beautiful plant which is very popular. I think it was much more popular in 2019 and 2020, 2021. This was a very popular house plant and a lot of people wanted to buy it. Even now it is popular, but the demand of a lot of plants are dropping by the day because a lot of people have started getting back to their regular routine. During COVID, we all had a lot of time in hand and a lot of people got into gardening, due to which a lot of the plants had started to become very expensive. This plant, I had purchased it for almost 1,000 rupees in 2020, and today when I tend to check, the prices have dropped almost half. I had purchased it for 4 digits. I've also seen people selling them for 300 rupees as well, but I'm not very sure how healthy the plant is going to be. But nevertheless, you can see it's a very beautiful plant. It's called as a Philodendron Mamei. I'll put the name on the screen. It belongs to the variety of Philodendron. Now there is another variety as well, which is called as Philodendron Silver Cloud. Now I am still doing a little bit of research to understand what is the difference in both, but as far what I have seen is the Philodendron Mamei has a red marking on the petiole, whereas the silver cloud does not have the petiole. But again, I'm not very sure because I don't have the silver cloud yet. I don't have that plant yet, but a lot of people who have the plant tend to differentiate with this red marking on the petiole. That indicates that this is a pure Philodendron Mamei. Now guys, talking about the care requirements, let's start with the soil. The soil remains the same, what I tend to use for my other plants. I'll put it on the screen. I have a mix of coco peat, garden soil, sand and perlite. So I tend to use that. Now I'm not giving you the exact ratio because the soil mix tend to change from city to city. In different environments, you need to have different type of proportions. Now over here, I'm using coco peat. For example, if you are from a dry environment, you'll have to increase the amount of coco peat. If you are from a very humid environment, then you'll have to reduce the amount of coco peat. But these are the important components. Now it depends upon you how much quantity you want to use, depending upon that. Because the coco peat is going to retain the moisture. The garden soil is also going to retain a little bit of moisture. It's going to give the natural nutrients to the plant. Sand is going to make the soil well draining. It's going to make the soil porous because the philodendrons like porous soil. Apart from that, the perlite is going to make the soil airy. So at all given point of time, your pot should have a drain hole because these plants do not like to be sitting in soggy wet soil. The moment you're going to water it, the water should pass through the drain hole, just making the soil wet. Because we are using well-draining soil, if you're not going to have drain holes in your pot, it doesn't make any sense of using a well-draining soil. So every pot should have a drain hole. Now the pot size over here, I'm using, this is an 8-inch pot because they prefer a little bigger pot. If the plant is very big, do not keep it in a very small pot like a 4-inch pot. They tend to grow really big. Now my plant, when I had gone on vacation last year, it was completely damaged, but now it is slowly starting to recover. You can see it is doing quite well. This is the newest leaf that has come up, and there we have another leaf coming up. So as you can see, this is the new plant that is growing and this is the sheath. So whenever there is a new leaf that tends to grow, this is the sheath that is going to be protecting it. So that is how they tend to grow. So watering is whenever you tend to see that the upper layer of soil around 2 inches is dry, you have to go ahead and water it. Fertilizers, avoid doing it during the winters because the plant tends to go dormant, but during summers you can go for any liquid based fertilizer. It tends to work out really well. They are not very heavy feeders, but you can give a little bit of probably once a month during summers. You can give a liquid based fertilizer. I tend to use only compost liquid, the compost tea, so it tends to work out really well for my plant. Propagation is pretty simple. If you want, you can just cut off the nod and it will start to grow. Now I don't have any new growth right now, but as and when it is going to grow, it is going to grow taller over here. And then it's going to have aerial roots. So that is when you tend to cut. So here you can see this is where if I happen to cut, I will get a new plant. And then the remaining portion in the stem in the soil will start putting out new leaves. But I definitely cannot cut it right now because it's a very small plant. But as and when it tends to grow, it tends to have an evident stem. So wherever you find the nodes, you'll have to give it a cut. It is also an epiphyte because it belongs to the Philodendron family. You can also use a pole for it. It will tend to grow on the pole as well. As I said, my plant is very small, so the pole is not going to work out right now. Probably as and when it grows another 1 or 2 feet, I can use a pole. Now, humidity is not much of an issue for philodendrons. They do quite well in average humidity as well, so that is not much of an issue. Like most of the plants love a lot of humidity, this plant will do well in average humidity as well. You can grow it outdoor, you can grow it indoor as well, but light is the most important part. Do not expose it to direct sunlight, otherwise the plant will get burnt. You have to give it a good amount of indirect bright light, or you can give filtered or dappled sunlight as well, but do not expose it to direct sunlight, otherwise the leaves will get burnt. And talking about toxic, so yes, this plant is toxic. It belongs to the philodendron family, so philodendron plants are toxic, so ensure that you keep it at a safe distance from small children and pets. In case if they have happened to bite the leaves, so seek medical attention, because if the leaves are ingested, it can lead to problems, to health problems, so ensure that you seek medical help in case if they have ingested any of the leaves. So overall the plant is very easy. Even if you are a beginner, you can definitely add it in your collection. It's a very fuss-free plant. Pests do attack this plant underneath. The spider mites are a very common attackers of this plant, so always check the undertone of the leaves. Also, you will notice that there will be a lot of spots if there are any spider mites beneath, so it's always better to check the under of the leaves. If you tend to see any pest attack, you can go for any organic solution that you have been using. So that's all about it, guys. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.